Pereview is a software that has helped investment managers and with their investing and the reporting, and I think are unleashing a few new roadmap improvements here. Jeff Wilson, CEO of Pereview, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm great. Thank you.
How's your show been so far?
Early, but still pretty good.
Yes,
You know,
yes. What are you seeing out there that is of interest to you?
I think one change from this year to maybe last year, or certainly probably 2 or 3 years ago, if you were to roll the clock back 5 years ago, I think people were saying, finally this industry is getting some real technology, right? And I think people here are now, this year, saying, it's here, now how do we adapt it and implement it? One of the things that we see a lot of is, how do I make better use of my front office personnel's time? So the acquisitions officer, the people in the underwriting teams, people in portfolio management, asset management, finance closing teams, how do we make more efficient use of their time? If you look at changes in the workforce, one, labor is getting more expensive in the US. The millennial generation has different expectations, so to speak, in terms of hours worked and not having to do everything in Excel. And so there's just that coupled with, on the investor side, the investor community is really demanding of the real estate private equity partners to really institutionalize a lot of their core processes. And the only way you're really going to do that is through a platform like what we have, like with Pereview. And so we see a lot of interest and activity around how do we take an application like what Pereview is, which is entire life of the asset, and begin to bring that into our organization so that we can continue to grow AUM without having to, in parallel, grow headcount and personnel.
Why Pereview? There are many solutions. What is it that you do best?
We are the only application in the world that covers the entire life of the asset in one application. And so what that means is, if I'm acquisitions, underwriting, asset portfolio management, I've got one application to go to, and that's Pereview. And so in one bucket, I've got accounting actuals coming in from whatever accounting platform, it doesn't matter. I can see historical underwriting views on this property. I can line that up with current projections or prior projections. I can take a look at all the way from the investor and fund level down to the investment, all the way down to the asset property, get a full view of all the tenants and lease information, as well as manage all of the core documents, whether they're lease agreements or purchase sale agreements or any documents that need, really all in one application. So that plus Outlook is really all that you need, and we think we're very, very unique in that regard.
Everyone at this show looking for solutions, looking for platforms, looking for ways. And every time you choose one, it's an opportunity cost. There could be a different one. Or you're about to adopt a technology and you don't know. What is the most common concern of someone who is about to adopt Pereview? And what would you do to allay that concern?
Honestly, what we hear a lot of is, after spending several hours of doing demos and due diligence and stuff, and when we're talking to the C-level suites and the IT people and asset portfolio managers, and we're saying, gosh, within one platform, I can put all my deal pipeline information, I can wire in my own underwriting models and valuation models, and I can see all my stuff in one place. Honestly, what we hear a lot of is, if I adopt Pereview in full, you got me.
Yeah.
right? And I can't really kind of go anywhere after that, and so what do we do? And so we do a lot of things to kind of allay their concerns. One, we're not a multi-tenant, we're a single-tenant environment. Our customers own their data. We don't have rights to take it and resell it and that type of stuff. Yeah. And so they own their information. They have the ability to kind of self-serve in any type of situation where they might need to. So the big feedback we get in terms of concern is, gosh, once I'm on you, then I've really got no place else to go.
Right.
Because in the process of doing that, what I've done is I've gotten rid of all of these offline Excel schedules and models that I'm updating manually, and this asset manager's models are different than this manager's models, and we're doing all of our reporting in a mix of Excel and PowerPoint, and now I've finally automated it through one single source application.
So what are you doing? Now these companies have so much extra time on their hands that they don't have to be doing all this stuff. I mean, do you send them on vacations or How are you?
Well, I don't know about that, but what we do hear a lot of is, particularly around the quarter-end reporting and or the valuations underwriting process, gone is all the hours spent just chasing after your information and realizing, oh my gosh, if we've reloaded stuff that's wrong, I wake up and I see in this model I got pound ref errors, and I'm having to fix that. So all that is gone.
Wow.
And now we're going to sit down across the table and we're going to argue over, what's the appropriate cap rate for office product in downtown Seattle.
Right.
And let's make sure that all of our office product in this submarket or market
Right.
is valued the same method.
So you're spending more time making decisions that matter instead of chasing down analytics and data.
Yep.
It sounds pretty amazing. Would you say that you, what is coming down the road? I don't know if you can tell me some of the roadmap things that are coming down the road for you.
We can talk a little bit about that. I mean, again, we try to serve the entire real estate private equity space, and so we've got kind of all the major property types covered. One of the things that we're pivoting towards is debt as an asset, and then kind of a later phase is what we're really thinking of and calling as Pereview Plus, which is taking all of your existing information today and just getting that out of Excel and onto a platform, and then beginning to layer that with a true cloud-based predictive analytics platform, where not only are you taking an information that you own around investors and investment information and tenant lease data, but you're then beginning to marry that up with public data and other private sources of information. And some of this is open source, like US Postal Service and Google Analytics, et cetera, to really then have a true scenario and predictive-based outlook on what if cap rates do compress? What if interest rates go up a quarter of a point? What if rents in this submarket do this? Now we can have machine learning using cloud computing run 15 different scenarios for us, all in a matter of minutes, versus having to have a team of financial analysts do that on your behalf, right?
Wow.
And so that's some of the behind the curtain stuff that we're working on, and there's a couple of large partners that we're working with in order to move those things forward. So we're really excited about what's coming down the pipe.
This sounds incredible, and if in our last words as we wrap up, what would you want the people watching this online and also the people here at the show, if they could take away one idea about what Pereview is or can do, what would you say that is?
It is Plus Outlook, the only application you need for your front middle office people.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Great to see you, and we'll look forward to great things out of you this year.
Likewise.
Thanks
Thank
a
you.
lot. Well, Jeff Wilson, sharing us, CEO of Pereview, sharing with us what sounds to be an incredible solution. We are about to go out